Everyone holds a version of you in their mind.
But reading beyond the frame reveals none of them hold the whole story.
In today's deep dive, we are just sitting with that. The quiet freedom of letting go.
So let us unpack this.
Yeah.
Because that opening line about everyone holding a version of you.
I mean, it immediately made my chest tighten. It feels claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Like being surrounded by 100 mirrors, but none of them are completely flat. They are all just slightly warped.
It is interesting you say claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first read it, I actually felt this strange sense of relief.
Relief? How do you get relief from the idea that people are walking around with a distorted avatar of you in their heads?
Well, because if everyone holds a different version, and all of them are slightly warped, then none of them are authoritative.
Oh.
Right. The text opens with this core paradox. It lists out these totally contradictory versions of you that exist simultaneously out in the world. It basically breaks the monopoly on the truth of who you are.
Okay, I see where you are going with that. It is the sheer volume of contradictions that kind of cancels them out.
Exactly.
The text actually lists these out. It says someone thinks you are confident, someone else thinks you are distant.
That is a big one.
And that one hit me really hard. Because often when I am feeling shy or maybe anxious at a party, I just go quiet.
Right.
And to me, inside that feels like fear. I am literally trembling. But to someone looking at me from the outside...
Without access to your internal monologue.
Exactly. Without knowing that silence looks like aloofness. It looks like I am judging them.
And that right there creates friction. The behavior is objective. You are silent. But the interpretation is entirely subjective.
Yeah.
And the text goes on to highlight an even sharper double bind. Someone thinks you are too much. Another thinks you are not enough.
Too much and not enough. I mean, that has to be the most painful binary we navigate as humans.
It really is.
And the crazy thing is you can be both of those on the exact same day.
You can be both in the same hour. Just think about a typical workplace scenario. You are in a meeting. You are passionate about a project, and you have done your research, so you are firing off ideas.
Yeah.
To a boss who values high energy and disruption, you are assertive. You are visionary. You are enough.
But to the colleague sitting right next to you who maybe just wants to get through the agenda and go home...
You are loud.
Right. Loud, intense, domineering. You are too much.
Exactly. And here is where we usually get tripped up. We try to solve this by calibrating ourselves. We think, okay, I need to be a bit less intense for Dave, but way more intense for Sarah.
Which is impossible.
You become a radio dial constantly trying to find a frequency that pleases everyone.
It feels like you are trying to perform a different play for every single person in the audience, but they are all watching the exact same stage.
Yeah.
It is exhausting. And it makes you feel like you are the problem. Like if I were just calibrated correctly, everyone would see me the exact same way.
And that is the trap. That is where the source material offers a really stabilizing anchor. It says explicitly none of them hold the whole story. The fragmentation is not a failure of your character. It is not a failure of your calibration. It is just an inevitable byproduct of human perception.
We are all walking around with incomplete data sets about everyone else.
Completely.
It is weirdly comforting to realize that, to realize the version of me in my friend's head or my boss's head, they are just drafts. Rough drafts.
Or to use the metaphor from the text, they are snapshots.
Yes. They are not seeing you. They are seeing a moment through their lens.
Right.
I really want to dig into this distinction, the difference between seeing a person and seeing a moment. Because we do this to other people too, don't we?
We do it constantly. It is a cognitive shortcut. Think about the mechanics of a snapshot, a photograph.
It freezes time.
It freezes time. It takes a living, breathing, evolving complexity, which is a human being, and flattens it into a static two-dimensional image. If you catch someone mid-sentence, they might look angry. If you catch them in a moment of grief, they look broken.
It reminds me of those terrible candid photos where you are blinking and eating at the same time. You look totally deranged. But if someone watched the video, you're just eating a sandwich and sneezing.
Context is everything. A snapshot lacks the before and the after. It completely lacks the trajectory. But the text adds a crucial modifier here that we really cannot skip. It says through their lens.
Through their lens.
This implies the observer is not a neutral camera. They're filtering you through their own experiences, their own insecurities, their own expectations.
So if someone is feeling insecure about their own intelligence, they might project that onto me and see my questions as condescension.
Precisely. They're projecting their own internal state onto your external canvas. We're never just seeing someone. We are seeing our reaction to someone.
Wow.
The text actually warns us that these external viewpoints are missing the most vital parts of us. It gives this incredible list of what is invisible to that lens.
I loved this list. It felt like a defense of our inner lives. It says they don't see your thoughts, your effort, your growth, your battles.
Let us just sit with effort for a moment.
Okay.
Because we live in a world that is very results-oriented. The snapshot captures the result, the trophy or the failure, the clean house or the mess.
Right.
But effort is entirely invisible.
That is so true. No one sees the 3 hours I spent staring at a blank screen before I wrote the first sentence for this deep dive.
Exactly.
No one sees the restraint it took to stay calm in an argument when I really just wanted to yell. They just see the calm.
They don't see the work that went into manufacturing that calm.
Yeah.
And that is the tragedy of the snapshot. It misses the silent battles, as the text puts it.
Yeah.
We all carry these invisible weights. You could be walking down the street looking perfectly fine to a passerby. That is their snapshot of you.
But internally?
Internally, you are grieving or terrified or making a massive life-changing decision. The snapshot cannot capture the turbulence of the soul.
And growth, too. That is on the list. But I kind of have to push back on this one a little bit. Isn't growth eventually visible? If I am growing, shouldn't people see it?
Eventually, yes. But the actual process of growth is often very messy and totally invisible.
Like a seed underground.
Exactly. It is growing, but to the observer looking at the dirt, nothing is happening. Or think about learning a new skill.
Right.
The growth phase often just looks like clumsiness. It looks like failure. If someone takes a snapshot of you while you are learning to lead a team, they might capture a moment where you stumbled.
So they see incompetence, but you know it is growth.
That is a crucial distinction. The snapshot captures the stumble, not the lesson learned from the stumble.
Which is why it is so dangerous to rely on others to validate our progress.
Yes.
If they only see the snapshot, they might completely miss the fact that you are miles away from where you used to be. They might still be holding on to a version of you from 5 years ago.
Oh, the family reunion effect.
Yes. You go home for the holidays, and suddenly you are treated like you are 16 again.
Your parents or cousins have this calcified version of you. Oh, you are the messy one. You are the shy one.
You were sitting there thinking, I run a company. I am incredibly organized.
But it doesn't matter because they aren't looking at you. They are looking at the photo of you they put in their wallet 10 years ago.
That is wild. So that is the snapshot, the passive frozen moment.
Yeah.
But then the text shifts to something that feels a bit more aggressive.
The frame.
Yes, the frame. The line is, you don't need to shrink just to fit inside someone else's frame. I feel like frame is doing very different work here than snapshot.
It definitely is. A snapshot is an observation. A frame is a container. A frame is an expectation of where you belong and exactly how big you are allowed to be.
Shrink. It is such a visceral word in this context.
It really is. It implies physical pain, contortion.
It makes me think of those square watermelons that grow in Japan. Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah. The ones in the glass boxes.
Right. They put a rigid glass box around the baby watermelon and it
grows into a cube.
Yeah, it shrinks its natural shape to fit the container.
That is a perfect and maybe slightly disturbing analogy. When we try to control the version of us that exists in someone else's mind, we are essentially trying to become that square watermelon.
We are shaving off parts of ourselves.
We are.
So what does that look like in real life? The shrinking.
Well, it looks like self-editing. Say you have a friend who is always the victim in every single story.
Right.
To fit into their frame of the supportive friend, you might feel you have to shrink your own problems. You can't share your good news because it might overshadow them.
And you can't share your bad news because it competes with them.
Exactly. So you shrink. You become less dimensional.
Or in a relationship. I have definitely done this. You meet someone who loves that you are so chill.
The chill girl frame.
Yes. So suddenly you suppress every anxiety, every strong opinion, every need, just to stay inside that frame.
You amputate your complexity. And why? Because the other person's frame is usually built for their convenience, not your truth.
It is cognitively easier for people to put you in a box.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He is the funny one. She is the reliable one. If the funny one starts crying or the reliable one takes a spontaneous trip, it breaks the frame.
It confuses people.
It inconveniences them.
Oh.
And so subconsciously, they pressure you to get back in the box.
Yeah.
They say you are acting weird today.
But what they really mean is you are not fitting in the frame I built for you.
Correct. And the text is basically screaming at us to stop.
Don't do it.
It is giving us permission to stop the contortion.
Yeah.
It says the frame is theirs, the snapshot is theirs, but the story is yours.
But hold on, because this is easier said than done, right?
Of course.
We are social animals. We need to be understood to survive. When I realize someone has a wrong version of me, when they think I am distant but I'm actually just sad, I have this burning urge to run over to them and shake them and say, no, look.
Look closer.
Yes, here are my footnotes. Here is my internal monologue. Read it.
That is the urge to explain, to edit the file in their brain. We want to manage the PR of our own identity. But consider the futility of that. If you run over and explain, they are still seeing that explanation through their own lens. You cannot force someone to clean their glasses.
You cannot force someone to clean their glasses. That is just immensely frustrating.
It is frustrating if your goal is to be perfectly understood. But if your goal is to be free, it is liberating.
Liberating?
Yes, because the source material is inviting us to shift our energy. Instead of spending all our vitality trying to ensure every snapshot is flattering and accurate, we simply inhabit the whole story ourselves.
So we just let them be wrong?
We let them be wrong.
Yeah.
We accept being misunderstood as the price of admission for being complex.
That brings us to the end of the text. It shifts from what they don't see to what we are. It says you are the full story. And then it ends with a single word.
One word.
Pause.
It is an instruction.
I have to be honest, when I got to the end and saw the word pause, I was a little annoyed.
Really?
Yeah, it felt too simple. Like, just breathe. How does pausing fix a bad reputation? How does it fix the fact that my boss thinks I am disorganized?
That is a completely fair reaction. We always want a strategy. We want a script to fix the misconception. But the source isn't offering a fix for the reputation.
Oh.
No, it is offering a fix for the anxiety.
Explain that.
Well, think about the frenetic energy of trying to manage perceptions. It is fast. It is reactive. What did they think? Did I say the right thing? Do they like me?
I need to send an email to clarify.
Exactly. It is a constant buzzing noise. Pause is the antidote to the performance.
So it is not about doing something. It is about stopping something.
Yes. It is dropping the shoulders, unclenching the jaw. It is a moment of returning to the self. When you pause, you step out of the frame. You stop posing for the picture.
Stop posing. Because we are kind of always posing, aren't we? Even when we think we aren't.
We are.
We are posturing for approval. We are angling our good side.
We are naturally performative. But the pause allows us to reconnect with the things on that invisible list we talked about earlier.
The thoughts, effort, growth battles.
Right. When you pause, you can feel your own growth, even if no one else sees it. You can honor your own battles, even if they were completely silent.
It is about shifting the center of gravity. Instead of the center of gravity being out there in their eyes, it moves back inside.
Precisely. If you know you are the full story, the snapshots matter less.
Yeah.
If someone takes a bad photo of you, it doesn't change your face. It is just a bad photo.
And if someone misunderstands you, it doesn't change who you are. It is just a misunderstanding.
That is the ultimate freedom, the permission to be misunderstood.
The permission to be misunderstood. That is scary, but also it feels a lot lighter.
It is the lightness of integration. Being the full story means you accept the confident parts and the distant parts.
You accept the times you were too much and the times you weren't enough.
Exactly. You understand that you are a fluid, living narrative, not a static image on a wall.
And realizing that everyone else is doing this too. That is the flip side, right? If I am the full story, then the person judging me is also a full story that I am probably not seeing clearly.
That is the empathy that comes from this realization.
Yeah.
Just as they are viewing you through a lens, you're viewing them through yours.
Yeah.
When you judge your boss as cold, you are taking a snapshot. You don't see their battles. You don't see their effort.
It softens the edges a bit. We are all just crashing our frames into each other.
We are. And the pause allows us to move through the world with a bit more grace. We don't have to clash frame against frame.
We can just acknowledge that we are all vast, complicated stories passing each other.
So true.
So if you are listening to this right now and you are feeling that pressure, the pressure to explain yourself, to fix a misconception, to shrink down so you don't annoy someone, just remember the list.
Remember your thoughts, your effort, your growth, your battles.
Those are yours. They don't belong to the audience. They belong to the protagonist, and that is you.
You are the protagonist. And the story is still being written. It is not finished. It cannot be captured in a single glance.
I think that is exactly why the text ends with pause. It is not the end. It is just a breath, a moment to realign before the story continues.
A moment to check in with yourself rather than checking the mirror.
It is funny we started this deep dive talking about how terrifying it is that everyone has a version of us in their heads.
Yeah,
But talking through it, it feels less like a trap and more like a distraction that we can just choose to ignore.
it is noise. The signal is inside.
As we wrap up, I'm thinking about you, the listener. I am thinking about how many of us are walking around right now, holding our breath, sucking in our stomachs, metaphorically, or literally just trying to fit in a frame that someone else built.
Maybe it is a parent's frame, a partner's frame, or just society's frame.
And my hope is that you can exhale, expand, take up the space you actually need. If that makes you too much for the frame, break the frame.
Being unseen by others does not make you non-existent. You are whole even when the lighting is bad. You are whole even when the photographer is looking the other way.
That is the takeaway. You are the full story, always. I want to leave you with one thought to carry into the rest of your day. We spend so much time worrying about the snapshots others take of us. But what if we stopped trying to be the image and started enjoying the feeling of just being the person? What if the freedom you were looking for isn't in being seen perfectly, but in stopping the performance altogether?
Just letting yourself be.
You've been listening to The Pause, and we'll be back at 8 a.m. tomorrow.